Welcome to the second episode of the American Redemption podcast. It's a beautiful day today, and I hope you're all having a beautiful day as well. And today's episode, we're talking about what happened to the American spirit. Now, you would think of the American people as a free people, a proud people. You might have some visions if you close your eyes. You think about a screeching bald eagle, a citizenry that does not look to the government for answers. They look to God to guide their path. And they're a tough-willed people that's handled adversity throughout their history. And we are wondering where that spirit is now. Is it still hiding deep within us? And how do we bring the cause of liberty back to the forefront of American political discourse?
Yeah, it's a good question because, even if you look at different parts of the country, you look at a New Yorker, a no-nonsense New Yorker, or maybe like a cowboy out in Utah, they both bring up these feelings of self-governance and like toughness. And where did that go? We went from a nation that wrote a giant FU letter to the King of England over some taxes, one of the most powerful men in the world. And now we have a regime that wants to tell you what you can say online, where you can go, including what restaurants you can dine at and where you can travel to. And now they want to make compliance with the government a condition of your ability to make a living. That is tyranny, plain and simple. And so what did we lose? What changed in our population that has led us to this point where we are unable to take a stand against a tyrannical government?
I don't think that people truly understand the gravity of the situation. I mean,
no, most people simply don't get it, and most of them never will. We at best can hope for 10 to 20% of the country that is aware of what's going on and capable and willing to stand up. The revolution was fought by like 3% of colonists. So, I'm not expecting much from the average person, but it does take a vocal minority to make change.
No, yeah, there's a Sam Adams has a quote. He said, "It does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men." He's outright saying exactly everything we're saying, that it's a mindset. You have to set a brush fire of freedom. You know that feeling of adrenaline you get when you're playing a sport, or you're at the gym, or like you have a nice workout, or you even just feel like passionate about something, and people
Right.
call it getting your juices flowing or anything. But that's what he's talking about. He's saying you have to be high energy, and you have to literally have a fire of freedom burning in your soul, or you don't deserve it. This is one of the founders of our country saying, if you don't have a fire in your soul for liberty and freedom, you're not getting it. So no, I mean, in a modern sense, what do we break this down as? Rent is due every single day. A lot of sports teams say this. A lot of high earning, successful people who wake up very early in the morning and get to the grind.
Right, they say the grind never stops.
Yeah, the grind never stops. Rent is due every day. If you're not actively doing something each day in your day-to-day life to further your freedom, it's regressing, because how hostile the DOJ and the justice system and the executive branch and the legislature is towards good, upstanding American citizens. If you're not doing something actively to further your agenda, you're furthering their agenda.
Right, because liberalism and tyranny and corruption are like entropy. It's the natural disorder and decay of of the world. It's the natural state is not liberty and freedom. That's something that needs
No, then
requires input, requires active participation by virtuous citizens.
no, then the natural order of the world is tyranny. I mean,
Right.
if you break it down, we go through the history in the world. How many groups have been conquered and enslaved and rinse and repeat all throughout history.
Right. What we used to have is a very rare thing.
We still do, but we have to earn our keep at this point. I think that's a serious fact of the matter.
Yeah, so
So-
we've been regressing for a very long time now, and it's getting to a critical point here where we are either going to reclaim our liberty or lose it forever. And a lot of people are still convinced that voting every 2 years is going to fix it. Like there's this idea that the silent majority is going to come out at the next election, and everything's going to be okay. We're going to take back the White House and the Senate and the House of Representatives, and freedom will be back. We'll hear bald eagles screeching as they fly through the streets, and everything's going to be great. But
I mean, no, it's ridiculous. It's a total cope. Nothing
Oh.
is going to get done by you voting once every 2 years. I mean, come on.
Yeah, again, we talked about in the last episode that the boomer arguments and what the bare minimum you can do as a citizen, you're barely scraping by at that point. Honestly, you're probably not that informed enough to even vote at that point. If you're only going to get active every 2 years and watch what you hear on Fox News and go off of that. Have any of these impediments to your personal liberty went away over, let's say, even the last 20 years? Post 9/11 is usually a good indication of I guess in a modern sense, the before our rights were eroded away, and the after period, because that is when a lot of programs got implemented. That's when a lot of three-letter agencies got more funding. Has TSA went away when they said it would be temporary? Has even going further back, the income tax went away. There was supposed to be just a tax on the rich in 1913. That is still a talking point today, 108 years later.
right, there is nothing so permanent as a temporary government program. I think that was Reagan who said that. But yeah, to your point,
That was Reagan referencing Milton Friedman, who's one of the best you could call right wing or conservative or just overall just capitalist economists of all time. He's notorious for having those fantastic quotes.
it's a great quote. But yeah, it really does seem like 9/11 is when we as a nation decided that security was more important than liberty. And once you tell that to the government, there is nothing they won't do in the name of security.
Every time you use the government to increase your feeling of safety and security, you are giving up liberty and you are not getting it back without a fight. It's the natural order.
Yeah, exactly. It works out entirely like a supply and demand curve where you have security and you have freedom. And every time you give up freedom for security, it's just going to be that much harder of an uphill battle on the way back up.
Yeah, absolutely. So why are people so obsessed with safety and security today? Like, I mean, I know people who have completely accepted all of the COVID nonsense, all of the restrictions and the lockdowns, because they just simply don't want to deal with the sniffles for a couple of days. That is it. They literally have told me, "Oh, I don't care. I don't want to get sick." I mean, come on. That's part of being a human and being alive. You will get sick. If you are running away from what is essentially the common cold for people our age and just letting the government do whatever it wants, you don't deserve any liberty.
No, you're running away from life itself. Honestly,
It's the bubble boys. We live in a world of bubble boys, of helicopter parents who never let their children do anything that had just the smallest amount of danger in it. Like, safety is not the highest good. It's just not. Like, people are way too obsessed with safety, and they prioritize it at the cost of living their life.
Well, yeah. I mean, these are the people that wear masks in their car and don't let their kids play outside or play in the mud. And then they wonder why, as soon as they step outside in the real world and they're allergic to air, why their kids are so messed up when they turn like 20, 25, and then they live in their parents' basement and they become a socialist and then they hate themselves. And then voila, here we are, 2021.
It's so sad, but it's unfortunately the reality. It's so true.
Yeah, we have this notion that we say, oh, well, freedom isn't free. We have to support the police. Back the military. Support our troops. We have all of these almost cliches about freedom that are just blindly putting our allegiance behind other entities, whether we know that their ends are good or not, or increasing the cause of liberty. If you just blindly throw more money at the military or blindly throw more money at the police, that does not equal liberty. That is actually increasing bloat on the system, which leads to more corruption and ultimate tyranny.
Yeah, those are more copes. We still think we have the police on our side, or the military, or we might have those Democrats in the White House, but at least we got the police and the military, and we'll vote them out in 2 years. But it's all big cope. We have to recognize that it's on us, the average American, now.
Well, yeah, we've been voting on the belief that every 4 years or every 2 years it's a life or death vote, and it's never been the case. I mean, it's getting more and more serious towards that as the regime gets more and more hostile towards us. But ultimately, yeah, you can't vote your way out of a life or death situation. I mean, when you flip a coin and it's heads or tails, at some point it's going to come up tails, and you're going to have to face the music.
I mean, this is it. You got to hold the line here. This is the hill to die on. People need to wake up and understand that this is what tyranny looks like. Just because it's in the name of public health does not mean it's not tyranny. There was always going to be a reason for a tyrannical takeover. It wasn't just going to come out of the blue. There was going to be a reason, and it was going to sound really convincing to most people, but it's tyranny nonetheless. The regime, this is more broad than just the government. This is all the major institutions, including big tech, public education, even many corporations. They are controlling speech. They are telling you where you can go, like in New York City or in Philadelphia, where you can't go to restaurants or bars without your vaccine passport. And soon you won't be able to travel internationally or to other states maybe, or fly on a plane. And now with the new announcement from Biden, they're going to attempt to control where you can work. I mean, that is tyranny. That is the pure definition. And why are so many people putting up with it? Can you imagine your great grandparents' generation putting up with that? Of course not. They were a different breed. And it still seems today like older people, boomers, actually are the ones who are resisting it more. You go to the grocery store, you're going to see a lot of boomers not wearing their mask, and good for them. Most of the Gen Z and millennials are wearing them like good submissive citizens of the globalist gay American empire. And there needs to be a wake-up call. I mean, and people need to understand that this is because we have become pacified, fat, lazy, addicted to comfort. It's all been coming for a long time. Each generation gets lazier and fatter and more pacified. And the result is what we're seeing right now. People have lost their energy, their desire for liberty.
we need to reclaim some of that American spirit that actually does something. When people would actually stand up for what they believed in and say what they meant and spoke the truth. We've all become fat and lazy and addicted to comfort. And that's the reason this is all happening. If you are strong and sure of yourself, they can't control you. If you're trying to get better every day, they won't be able to control you. But that's why they want you addicted to screens and eating junk food and sitting on your couch, not exercising. Being addicted to comfort is the best thing that ever happened to the regime.
Oh, absolutely true. How many different organizations launched an app, a streaming service, a food delivery service during the pandemic? Okay, you get your all of your favorite shows handpicked for you. You get Grubhub or Uber Eats delivered right to your door. You don't even have to leave your house. Oh, you're working remotely too now. So
yeah, it's so easy to be complacent.
they've sold all these things to you, and you but don't need to leave your door. There's not even, they don't even have to try for your services anymore.
Yeah, that's what's so crazy is they made it so easy to be complacent that it's like, why would I fight back? I'll be fine because they've got all these services in place. I've heard people say that, even if I can't go to the grocery store, if I don't have a vaccine passport, it's okay. I'll just get it delivered. Like, it should make you furious, but they're okay with it because there's a government or a regime-sponsored workaround for now.
Oh yeah, it's it's totally them blocking your freedom of movement in a free society, and at large, it's fourth and fifth generational warfare. I mean, it's really it's a game for your mind. That's entirely what it is. The COVID propaganda and whatever else they throw out there. The West has some of the best medical advancements in the history of the world, and we do have vaccines that are effective for polio, tetanus. We all get these vaccines when we're little, and we don't have to get a booster every single year because these vaccines work.
Right, getting 3 shots within a year for a mild virus, it's unheard of. It's clearly not an effective vaccine. The data is clear coming out of Israel that it is not working, and we'll see that coming here soon. We're a little bit behind Israel, but right as winter's hitting and the new wave comes back, that's when things are going to get very intense, and that's when things will get very bad for people who are not compliant with the regime. But it all ties back to what we talked about in episode 1. If you are focusing on improving yourself and building virtue and building community, you'll be okay. They can't control you. You got to find like-minded people and make a plan and have some resources prepared, have a plan of action. And, well, that actually, one of the most basic things we can do is Steven's 3-step plan.
Oh, don't get me started on the 3-step plan.
What is the 3-step plan?
All right. So, in your day-to-day life, here is Steve's 3-step plan to
win.
To win and oppose the regime and be a patriot and just overall be a good citizen. So, step 1 of the 3-step plan is show up.
Okay, we do need to work on that. We have not really been doing that.
Yeah, it's as basic as that. Find an event, find something you're passionate about, find something that you want to make a change in, and just show up and be in that physical location. I'm not even requiring you to say anything yet. I'm just requiring you to be there.
Doable, very doable.
Okay. Step 2, look good.
All right. Why is that so important? Why is that step 2?
Because optics is everything. If you show up there and you look the part and you look like you're ready to do something, again, you haven't even said anything yet. You just showed up and you look good. You look presentable. You look like a proud, upstanding American. Someone sees you there, and immediately you've been working on your training. You've been going to the gym. You've been eating right. You show up and you're in proper attire. Immediately, you command respect from that room.
It's true. It's true. And it's something the left is bad at. They might be showing up, but they're not looking good. They've got purple hair and they're 300 pounds overweight. So we can do them here. No problem.
So to recap, step 1, look good. No, step 1 is show up. Step
Okay.
2 is look good. Step 3, oppose Satan.
There it is. 3-step plan. Show up, look good, oppose Satan. Brilliant.
You do the 3 of these things. Now, albeit the last one requires the most pushback because the forces of evil are out in this world. Sometimes you see them every day with the way people act inhumanely and unjust and downright morally depraved.
Yeah.
But the fact is, if you show up and you look good and you oppose Satan, you will garner respect from your fellow citizens, those who still have their heads screwed on straight, and you will start to see the world move for you in a positive direction.
On step 3, people might be wondering like what that means, because they might be thinking, oh, I don't know any Satanists. I don't see anyone preaching about Satan out there. Well, there's many things out there that are Satanism in disguise, or he's sneaky. How about abortion? That's a child sacrifice at the altar of convenience. Too hard to have a baby, just sacrifice it. That's Satanism. How about transgender ideology? You were created in God's image as a male or a female, and you are rejecting that and mutilating your God-given body. Satanism.
Yeah, you can go on and on down the list. Pedophilia or child predators, people who I don't know, scam the elderly, or whatever you want to say. There's a long laundry list. The Hollywood propaganda of just morally depraved people and just pushing garbage onto our children. I mean,
Yeah, just ask Alex Jones about that, about Hollywood.
Yeah, it's everywhere when you open your eyes, and when you just put the brakes on or put the stop sign up and say enough, this is the line. You're not within my personal sphere. I'm not going to tolerate that. The world changes for you. It really does.
Yeah, you'll see it. We'll see it start changing before our very eyes if enough people follow the 3-step plan. It's a good plan. It's a good plan.
Yeah.
It's quick. It's simple. Well, it's not quick. Okay, it takes some effort. It takes some time to get it going, but it is simple and it is effective. There's no counter argument to the 3-step plan. There's no way they can stop it.
It's
Can't
inevitable.
It cannot be beat. The 3-step plan is inevitable. Good stuff. Yes, we do like the 3-step plan. Maybe that could be the first T-shirt American Redemption makes is going to be about the 3-step plan. It's a great shirt.
I love it.
It's a great quote. You came up with that? That was all you, the 3-step plan?
Also, as far as I know, no one else has taken claim to the 3-step plan.
It's a gold mine. It's great.
If someone else comes along and they can show the receipts that they gave me the idea for the 3-step plan, I will acknowledge them as such. But
Well, Yeah, let it be known that on the 3rd of October 2021, Stephen's three-step plan was recorded, and later announced to the world.
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
So,
How are you implementing the three-step plan in your life? What have you been doing?
let's see. So, showing up, just again, getting up every day, having a positive attitude, not dooming, not being a shill, actively looking for solutions and how I can improve my day to day life and the cause of liberty.
Yeah, where are you showing up?
Where am I showing up?
Yeah.
So I've shown up to my local GOP meetings a couple times, mostly just speaking to them. Again, I haven't really even dove into any topics at length with them yet, but again, just showing up and looking good, people take notice of that.
Good, Joe. That's step one.
Yeah.
What are you doing for step two?
I guess going to work, wearing proper work attire. I always wear a button up and khaki pants, regardless of the situation. I feel like that gives me some professionalism. I don't put a face muzzle on my face so people can see my face and see my expressions. And yeah, it's kind of just walking out into the world with your head held high and your shoulders back.
Now, step three. What have you been doing for step three?
Just spending more time in self-reflection with the Lord and being in prayer and asking the Lord for guidance. I know you enjoy the quote that I had on my wall. I'll read it to you. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Acknowledge him in all your ways. Acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths." From Proverbs chapter 5 and chapter 6.
It's a good quote, and it's a good bit of scripture. Nice picture it's on, and yeah, the devil truly does hate it. You are opposing Satan. I'm reading a book right now about, it's called "It Is Right and Just: Why the Future of Civilization Depends on True Religion." It talks about how basically Catholicism or Christianity is necessary for the future of Western civilization. That's what we were built on, and it's been rejected in the last century for other religions. They may not seem like religions, but progressivism and wealth, the worship of wealth and GDP and greed, that's a religion. Liberalism, if that's your entire focus, all these things are religions. And if we make those the focus of our society, we will collapse. It's inevitable. It's there's a great quote from Bob Dylan. You got to serve somebody. Everyone's got something that they made their god. We've got many false gods in the West today. The only way out of this mess is to focus on the one true God again.
No, absolutely agree with that statement. And yeah, that's not to say that you're not gonna make mistakes along the way, but it's sticking to the plan. You know, you have a diet or you have a workout plan. If you have a bad day on the diet or on the workout plan, the next best step to take is to focus on doing the next day correctly.
Yeah, learn to rest and regroup, not to quit.
Yeah, just don't have back-to-back bad days. Do not let your mistakes compound. The let's go with the neocons and all of these other people who would sell you the false pretext of liberty love compounding their mistakes, and sometimes you would seem to think that they're by design, almost. But yeah, they seem to always double down on their mistakes by falling into leftist narratives or poor choice of wording and whatever you might call it. But
Oh, it's
yeah,
devastating. It's devastating.
don't compound your mistakes and stick to the plan. The plan is foolproof.
The three-step
never,
plan.
it's never not worked throughout history.
True. That is very true. So let's finish up with a quick call to action. We want everyone to do something that furthers the cause of liberty. And there are so many options. This could be engaging in civil disobedience or protest. There's a lot of these popping up around the country with regards to the COVID tyranny.
Especially in blue states, New York, California. A lot of them have laid off their medical workers recently. They protest outside their hospital. They've worked there for 20 years. You know what? They're still showing up to work and they're holding their sign. Whether that gets them their job back or not is entirely not up to them at this point. But you know what? They're still showing up and they're still holding the line, as you would say.
Right.
And they're not. They don't have anything to gain out of it other than maybe an outside chance at the mandate being lifted. But
they're not giving in to the regime, and that's what's important here. You know, at some point, things are going to get to the point where they'll come for you. So might as well take a stand now. Don't keep giving in. At some point, we have to decide that there is a line in the sand, and if you let them cross it, it's over for you. I think the line is here. It's on these mandates. Don't let them cross it. Do not give in. It might just seem like a shot, and you've had many of those, but it's a lot more than that. It's not even about the vaccine. It's about a government that is attempting to force you into doing something that is highly suspect, for one, and they're making it a condition of your ability to live. I mean, it's just that simple. So another option is get your concealed carry weapons permit, something like that, or maybe start training with your weapon more. Find someone at your workplace or your school who kind of agrees with you. You can spot these people relatively easily by feel it out in conversation. See who doesn't seem to like wearing the mask. You know, if they're on your side, they're gonna maybe have it below their nose, or they won't always put it on. You can tactfully sort of find out how they feel. There's quite a few people at my work who we have found out are looking to not get the jab as well. And we've now got a little network. We're making a plan for when it is announced that it is mandatory, and we're going to stick together, and we're that much stronger because of it.
yeah, that's very good. Making sure you tell people your opinions. If now is not a time to be silent. The silent majority, or whatever you want to call it, none of that is in the realm that we're talking about right now. You have to be vocal and you have to be firm, and you have to mark your line in the sand and say, I will not be transgressed upon any further. Yeah. It's literally the definition of the "don't tread on me" flag. Well, they're right in the realm of treading on you, and you need to decide if you're really the rattlesnake, if you're going to bite back or not.
True. That's become dangerous. They are definitely treading on us, and it's now or never. It's now or never. Do something about it. All right, we'll leave you with that. Thank you, everyone, for listening to episode 2 of American Redemption. We hope you were able to take something away from this. Please share it with a friend. Leave us a review on your podcast app, and leave us some feedback. We are only on episode 2. We're looking to improve. We're going to try to become more consistent with our schedule here. And you can also check out our website, american-redemption.com. Still a work in progress, but thank you, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you next time.